guys ready for some laughs? No, come on, you can do better than that. Are you ready to have some laughs? Outstanding. You know, it's a real honor to be here with you, and I got to be honest with you, it's more than a little intimidating. If you think about the day that we've had and the tremendous speakers and storytellers that have come before me, I mean, what I feel like is like a class clown crashing a valedictorian party. I have no idea what I'm doing up here, but I think we have something to say about improvisation and what it can do in the world of innovation. Really, if you think about it, what we do has more to do with your world than you might know. And if we're successful in the next 20 minutes or so, we're going to give you some practical tips and some ideas that'll fuel you in all the good work that you're doing back at home. But we're going to do it differently. I'm not going to issue forth a monologue. We are actually going to co-create an experience together, as is befitting for an improv company. And we really want to involve you in the creation and the telling of this story. Make sense? So we're going to have some fun, and we're going to get some things started really quickly. But I need to get a little bit more information about you to do that. By applause, how many of you have heard of Second City or been to a Second City show? Awesome, awesome. And again, by applause, how many of you have ever taken an improv class? Okay, a little fewer, but there's a pretty good knowledge base here for some of the basic ideas. Last question, how many of you think that you're funnier than the person sitting to your left? Okay. Hey, for all of you, take note of that, because guess what? All you funny people, you're going to get an opportunity to come on up here and do it with us today. Yeah, beware of what you wish for. I got to get my clicker here. Life without a clicker is not a good thing. So, again, for those of you who don't know Second City, we're a comedy theater. We are 53 years old. We've got theaters in Chicago and in Toronto. We have training centers in Chicago, Toronto, and in Hollywood. And we're now teaching over 15,000 students a year, aspiring actors. It's really grown to be a big thing. I head up Second City Communications, which is a creative and corporate service arm of Second City, kind of the B2B arm of Second City. And we work with clients across an array of different services, but creativity and innovation is kind of core to what we do. I think the most important thing here is, though, that Second City does everything through improvisation. It's how we get to content, it's how we create content, and it's actually how we groom our talent. So everything is kind of grounded in improvisation. And for me, as a guy who spent about 20 years of his career in big companies before I landed at Second City about 10 years ago, I really think that business is an act of improvisation. That for all the planning and controls and governance, it really comes down to your ability to collaborate, communicate, create something out of nothing, and be nimble and adaptive. And so these skills that we teach are relevant for more than just the stage. They're relevant to all the work that we do here as well. And our mission here is real simple today. Success for me is conveying three key ideas. How important it is to co-create with your audience, to know who your audience is, and indeed to co-create with them. Two, can you build tight ensembles? We do so much alone in business, and we work in teams, but are you going from just being a team to becoming a really tight working ensemble? And the last thing is we're going to give you some tips and some ideas for how you can explore and heighten ideas. So no matter what your initiative is, no matter what endeavor you're taking on, you can do more of it, you can do better work within it. So at the end of my monologue, I want to turn it over, bring my actors up on stage here now, give them a round of applause, and they're going to improvise for you right now.
Hello, everyone. My name is Butch.
Hi, I'm Mark.
I'm Rebecca.
And all we need to get started to improvise for you are 3 suggestions. And I would like to ask for a relationship between 2 people, like lovers, or psychiatrist-patient, or divorcees. Thank you.
Excellent. And I would like something unusual that somebody would collect. Bologna sandwiches. Bologna sandwiches. Thank you very much.
And I would like a common household object, like a spatula or a blender or a what? A giraffe? Common household object, a giraffe, ladies and gentlemen. I'll take giraffe. We're going to use it.
Wow, Margaret, I've seen a lot of giraffes, but this is one of the finest in-home giraffes I have ever encountered.
Yes, I use it to reach high things.
Excellent, excellent. Oh, look how long his tongue is.
Yes, he's got a very long tongue. It's
Easy, boy. I'm assuming it's a boy.
Yes, it is a boy. It's rather easy to tell. What a day.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
I don't want to get you started. I don't want to get started at all.
All right, start.
Okay.
Is that what we're doing? Is that what we're doing?
Okay. Ex-husband number 1 calls me on the phone, while ex-husband number 2 is at the door.
Okay. You ready for this?
Okay, I'm ready.
Ex number 3 is still under my son's bunk beds. I know! I'll be there!
I don't know how to get rid of them. Divorce papers weren't enough. They keep coming back.
It's your pheromones. You're putting out the scent like I want you to come back.
Man, I'm waiting. I've been waiting in the car for 40
baby,
minutes.
baby, you just wait there. You just wait.
I'm
I'll be
waiting.
back there soon.
I miss you
I don't
already.
understand.
And you look real good.
Oh.
So this one I acquired in the 7th grade. I was an awkward child in middle school. You can see how it's flattened. One of the bullies just smashed it on the table. This one, of course, this was made with my first experiment in homemade bologna. Making my homemade bologna, I didn't realize that you had to have some sort of encasement.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of all over. But it's beautiful. I like the bread.
You're really innovative.
Would you like...
And scene! And thank you. Thank you all. We'll bring Tom back on.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's start unpacking some of the ideas we talked about right here at the top. Co-creating. I love this picture because it shows what's so essential about our work, which is actors working very closely and intimately with an audience to create something out of nothing together. And just as you did there, that's really, really key to what we do. When we're putting up a show at Second City, we don't send writers off into a room to come up with scripts. We actually develop that material with an audience, co-creating it over a 10 to 12-week period. And in doing that, we're really able to keep our finger on the pulse of what audiences find funny. But it also works because when you invite people into that process, as you found right here, you have a greater stake in the outcome, don't you? It's one of those things that because you're suggesting it and you see your suggestions coming to life on stage, it's one of those things where it really pays off bigger and it hits harder. You know, another thing too I think is interesting is kind of the translation game. You know, we say we work in improvisation, and I say, yeah, but I came from business, and I know what these terms are, and I understand how all this works. And if you think about some of the terms that are used in your world, crowdsourcing, rapid prototyping, even interactive for that matter, that's essentially what you just saw here. And it's interesting because Second City is, for 53 years, we have been an interactive medium. And it's coming in vogue right now, but we're just happy that the world's kind of caught up. One last thought on co-creation. There's a term in our world called gets. And you notice when our actors came to you just a little while ago, they were saying, could I get a suggestion for a location or a relationship or an object? And without the get, we really don't have the basis for a dialogue. We often talk at Second City about not having monologues, but really having dialogues with an audience. And really in your work, no matter what field you're in, the thing I would ask you is, how intimate is your relationship with your audience? Does it approximate what you see here in this picture? And what are your gets? How often are you going to your audience for suggestion that informs what you're doing and that really keeps the energy and the pulse going? So co-creation is vital to all the work that we do. Another thing that is really important, we talked about ensembles. And take a look at this picture. You probably recognize some of those faces, right? Probably the two most noteworthy, Stephen Colbert, and they're the most popular these days, Stephen Colbert and Steve Carell. We routinely work with people who go on to individual fame and fortune in stardom. But what we think is really important is they learn much of what they know within the context of an ensemble. And in any business endeavor, I look back at my own career on the other side of the desk, and I wonder, you know, I had my own individual needs, but did I balance well enough with what the ensemble needed to do? How much was I able to really work and collaborate with the people around me to get things done? And at Second City, we take that very seriously because, as you saw here with these folks, when they're improvising, there is no script, there is no map, there's nowhere, all they have is each other to rely on. And unless that ensemble is really tight, the scene's not going to go where it needs to go, and the audience will pick up on that. That's picking up on that idea, this whole notion of ensemble support. It's axiomatic in our work that one of the most popular things you'll hear in an improv class is always take care of your scene partner. And the same would apply in business, that we're in the business of taking risk, aren't we? We're in the business of pushing new ideas forward. And without the ability to really count on those around us to support us no matter what we're putting out, you really don't have the same chance for success. And that's really, really important. And the last thing, this notion, there's another phrase that we use in our work that it's not just that ensembles aren't as good as are only as good as their weakest link. It's ensembles are as good as their ability to compensate for the weakest link. It's an interesting idea that we have a greater obligation to the people around us than just what we can bring, but that as a team, we're obligated to make their work better. And the other side of that is that in any given situation, we might be the weakest link. There's plenty of times when I'm leading and others are following, and there's plenty of times when I'm the one who needs the support and I'm the one who needs their support as well and their help. So ensembles and building tight ensembles is absolutely critical to the work that we do, and we believe it's absolutely the way you should be thinking about it in the work that you all do. And the last idea here is we're going to do this in the form of an exercise. We're going to allow you guys to explore this and to feel this idea as opposed to hearing me talk about it. And it really is around exploring and heightening ideas. So how do you create more new stuff, and how do you create a protocol, a system, an expectation where you can have more better ideas more often? And to do that, I'd like to welcome our cast back up here who are going to take you through an exercise. Thanks.
All right. So everybody here, I would like you to find, you're going to create groups of 3 just within your area. So if you can sort of turn and find your group of 3. And we're going to do that so quickly in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So great. So now within your groups, I want you to decide who's A, who's B, and who's C. Just quickly figure that out. Wonderful. Now, A's, I want you to imagine that this particular group of people had so much fun today that you're gonna plan a reunion party. And A, you're in charge of deciding what that party is. There's no limit financially. The only limit is your own imagination. So this will be fun. Come up with your idea for what that party would be like, and you're gonna pitch it to B and C. Now, B and C, you are gonna meet every part of this pitch with this word, no, and then follow it up with here's why. So an example might be, we're going to have a big reunion party on the beach.
No, because I don't want to see most people I know in a bathing suit.
No, because I'm allergic to water.
Now, don't try to be as hilarious as we are. So A's turn to B and C and pitch, and you'll just keep re-pitching for about a minute. Go ahead.
C's, hold your hands up. You're going to do the same thing, same idea, same party, except you get to pitch the party. And A's and C's, you'll respond with yes, but. Yes, but. And begin.
It's your turn to go. Person C, you're going to pitch your ideas for this party. And all of them are going to be met with the phrase, yes and. Yes and. See where that takes your group. Begin. Shout out a couple things. If you were the person who heard no, what did that feel like? Sucked? Yeah?
Awful?
Yeah. We have that reaction to that word, right? It blocks us. No's a stopper. And think about how low the stakes are here. You're planning an imaginary party. And it still feels that way. What about yes, but? What did that feel like? A nicer way of saying no. What's that again? Excellent. Okay. So yes, but can be tricky. We think we're helping, but we're not always helping. There's a perception problem there sometimes, depending on how we present it. Yes, and what was that like? Yeah. Party time. Yes, and is the basic concept of improvisation, and we like to share this, especially in the outside world from our world. Yes, and is a concept of acceptance, not agreement. We use the word yes, but to us the yes is an idea of acceptance, not agreement. I accept your idea, I understand it, I give it value, and I help it move forward with my contribution. It helps us all contribute, it helps us get the buy-in, and it makes all the ideas stronger. Or as somebody once put it in one of our workshops, they learned through the idea of yes and that they didn't have to love every idea, but it helped to love every idea for a little while, just to see what might happen. And now we're going to give two folks the chance to live in the yes and world for a second. So I need two volunteers to come up here and join us on stage. Super easy. We will make you look like rock stars. Don't everybody rush the stage at once. It makes me nervous. Come on down. Here we go. I remember this guy. This is the guy who guaranteed himself that he was here.
We've got our two.
Okay, we've got two already.
All right, great.
We've got
so
two.
Sherry, excellent.
Sorry,
And
I know,
excellent.
bummer.
Sherry and Z. I'm Z. Z. Excellent. Okay. So we're going to play a game here called Pillars, and it's all about the things we've talked about today: acceptance, agreement, building on ideas, especially ideas that are not your own. Rebecca and Butch are going to play a scene here, and periodically throughout the scene, they're going to forget what they're going to say next, and they're going to touch their pillar of strength for the next idea, which is going to launch them who knows where in the scene. So for instance, if Butch were my pillar and I said, I don't often go out because I'm really scared of mice. And there are a lot of mice where I live because I live inside mice farm. Whatever that might be, they're going to make it make sense. Can I have a location that would fit on this stage, like a Starbucks or a bathroom at Starbucks? Say that again? Pinkberry, that's a store, right? They sell pink
Yogurt.
berry things. Excellent. You're at a Pinkberry. Begin.
Thank you for bringing me. This is delicious.
I love Pinkberry.
No.
Pinkberry makes me feel like I'm
a giant on a mountain.
Yeah, and I'm so not a giant on a mountain. I'm a midget in a hole.
Wow, it just gave me brain freeze. But it's fun to get out. It's been a while since I got out. Been so busy working and trying to come up with some new ideas for
Anything, because I really have not been busy or working.
It's weird how sometimes I say that out loud.
That's rough.
Oh,
That's really depressing.
I know, I'm sorry.
You know, a thing I like to do when I'm depressed is I like to,
Roll around in some mud and just slather it on my face.
because it makes me happy to be covered in mud like a little piglet. Makes me squeal with joy.
Wow, I'm seeing such a completely different side of you. I used to think you were really just...
A bitch.
Again.
That's fair enough, because I've done some pretty bitchy things in my day.
You really have.
Why, just this morning, this bitchy thing is something I did to my sister.
I sent her a nasty email telling her about how her husband and I slept together.
And the thing is, we didn't really. I just was feeling bitchy.
And scene. Very nice. Our volunteers, a round of applause. Thanks, guys.
Great job, Sherry. Great job, G. That's outstanding. So look, we're running tight on time, so we'll finish this up. These are the ideas we talked about at the top, but I would say beyond these ideas, just remember the energy that you experience in this room. When you allow others into the creation and you lead with yes and you come from that spirit, all sorts of things possible. Did you hear the volume in the room? Did you just feel the energy in the room change when you went from that no and that yes but to that yes and? And it's that kind of energy that you need to sustain you when we're going through tough patches in business and we're really trying to solve tough problems. And this is a room that's full of problem solvers working on very difficult issues. So think about that. Think about how you can co-create with an audience, figure out who your audience is, really find ways to allow them into that co-creation process. Think about how you can build tighter ensembles to sustain you during those difficult times, and find new ways to get to yes and. That it's really easy in the press of day-to-day business and in the press of life to fall back from that and to start to come from a no place and a fear place. But if you can live more in that positive, affirmative, yes and space, you're gonna have more success and you're gonna have a lot more fun and you're gonna laugh more. So that's our story. We thank you for the time and have a great conference for the rest of the time.